First of all, I always thought that breast cancer was a white woman's disease. I didn't know that black women got breast cancer, and that was mainly because all the promotions featured white women. So I just thought, oh, black women don't get this. And then, lo and behold, I was diagnosed with stage 3 advanced breast cancer. I thought after that, I finished with the IV and the chemo, that I was going to go home. I didn't know I had to take additional over-the-counter, not over-the-counter, but prescription drugs. And I went, and it was quite expensive. And I thought to myself, okay, what do poor people do? How do women that look like me, that is less fortunate than I am, how do they make it? How do they find the money to pay for this prescription, take care of their families, cover all their finances? That must be so difficult for them. And then I was at home one morning feeling, terrible after chemotherapy treatment. Couldn't get off the bed. It was terrible. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't want any other woman that looks like me to have to go through this alone. So when I get better, I'm going to do something about this. That started the journey of me and the Olive Branch of Hope.
The Olive Branch of Hope's office is situated on Indigenous land. This is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Wendat and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. The Olive Branch of Hope gratefully acknowledges these Indigenous nations for their guardianship of this land. The Olive Branch of Hope also recognizes stolen people from across the world who have inhabited this land by force. Slavery prior to and including the transatlantic slave trade continuing through modern day human trafficking have brought Indigenous people from across the globe to care for this land. We acknowledge the truth of our Canadian history and commit ourselves to reconciliation, knowledge, and careful intention. I invite you to take a moment of silence. Feel free to use this moment for prayer, memory of a loved one, or to set an intention for your engagement on this space. Thank you for holding this moment of silence with me.
Hey sisters, thank you for joining us this evening. We had a bit of a technical difficulties, but we're on. We're here. We're continuing with our 30 Days of HERstory campaign in support of the Olive Branch of Hope, or TOBOH. Before we begin our conversation, I just want to let you know that this is a wonderful organization, and I'm proud to be a part of it. It's been around for 20 years, and we've done some amazing work. So TOBOH has been holding a sacred space for women of African ancestry as they journey through cancer treatment, and they thrive through life afterwards. The founder, who's a visionary and stalwart leader, Miss Leila Springer, is joined by her board on her volunteers in saying, thank you for watching. Now, I know, like I said, we're a bit late, but if you can quickly share this link so that everyone can jump into this conversation with a phenomenal woman who's very familiar with TOBOH, Nadine McKenzie. Hi, Nadine. Welcome.
Everyone, good night.
Good evening. Hi, Nadine. It's so nice to see you. We had technical difficulty, but we're on, so we're good. So Nadine, can you please just tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourselves to our audience?
Hi, my name is Nadine McKenzie. I am 40 years old, mother of 2 beautiful daughters, old, and I was recently diagnosed for breast cancer.
Sorry, we were having a bit, Nadine. I couldn't hear you a bit. I think you cut out there.
I am a 40-year-old mother of two daughters, Zayn and Khalees. I was recently diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer in September. I'm a writer, a business owner, Melanin Market, which is a Black business incubator. I am a sister, a daughter, a friend, and yeah.
A mother and everything, right? Well, thank you. Welcome, like I said, and thank you for joining us. As you know, we've been going through this, and like I said, this is our 24th day of our 30-day journey, talking to inspirational and phenomenal women like yourselves, and we've been asking them various questions, like what, in terms of vision, what is vision to you, and why is it important to you?
For me, vision has always led my life. Like, I'm very much a person who's like, if you see it, you can achieve it. I'm one of the that my life is in shambles if I don't have a notebook and a pen on hand at all times. I'm constantly thinking of ideas. I'm constantly being very intentional about goals and my plans. So for me personally, vision is without vision, we are lost. So it is detrimental for our guidance and our getting to where we're going.
I like that. Without vision, we're lost. I like that. I like that. And you're so right. We need to know where we're going. And I like that you said that you have to be intentional about it, right? Because you have to know where you're going and how you're getting there. So that's excellent. And when you talk about vision, I guess you also have to have a voice, right? You have to, have a voice of knowing where you're going, what you're doing, to be able to speak out. Has there been a time when you felt either that you weren't heard, or that your voice was diminished, or that someone's tried to silence you?
Oh, well, outside of Melanin Market, my other job is a logistics manager. So as a Black woman in the transportation industry, I am constantly attempted to be silenced and not heard, and my voice is constantly overlooked. That being said, I am an extremely assertive woman. And so, again, just being a female and then being a Black female, there were times like when women get pregnant in the logistics industry, a lot of times like their business actually tries to like get rid of them. As a Black woman in my day-to-day life, there are times when my voice is constantly attempting to be silenced. But as most of the women that have been interviewed throughout the course of this month of March, all of us obviously are shakers and people who make sure that our voices are heard.
Excellent. That's so great. Yeah, that's we cannot be silenced, right? We need to, right? It doesn't, and it's true, like you said, because I also sort of work in the transportation industry when I was working with Metrolinx, and you're right, it's male dominated, and a lot of times they do try to silence your voice, and unless we refuse to be silenced, we can't let that happen. So that's wonderful. And you talk about Melamine Market, your job. What does that entail? Your other business?
So I started Melanin Market in 2017. Just had my daughter. She was about 2 years old. I could not find a Black Barbie doll that I wanted for her anywhere. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And so I started getting some information, and there's one Barbie doll, Black Barbie doll, for every 12 Barbie dolls in a box. So I was like, well, this is so terrible. And I was like, as Black people, especially, like, we might go to a last minute barbecue. We might go to a last minute party. We need to grab something. And I realized that there wasn't a place where I could absolutely go in with certainty and know that I will be able to get a Black doll or a Black book or a Black greeting card or a Black wrapping paper or anything along those lines. And I'm the type of person where if I see a problem, again, from working in logistics, if I see a problem, I'm going to address it, fix it, and whatever. And I don't like to wait on other people to kind of provide me with a solution. So I said, I'm going to open up a store that has all of these things geared towards Black people. So we opened up in the Pickering markets in December of 2017, and we closed down just before COVID in 2019, or sorry, at the end of 2019. And yeah, so basically the structure of the business was for us, by us. Single item in the store was either made by a Black person or a person of color and for a Black person of color. So we had jewelry, books, comic books, Barbie dolls, playing cards, clothing lines, anything that you could think of. Now, there's several melanin markets now, but pre-George Floyd. So
yeah,
the boom of like having stores like this in malls and stuff like that was not prevalent. There was the Knowledge Bookstore, and there was a book list, and that was kind of the only Black-owned stores kind of in the GTA at the time. I reached out to the Knowledge Bookstore, and they didn't want to expand their business. So that was kind of, they gave me my blessing. We went and proceeded to open up Melanin Market. And we created basically a vendor spot for Black-owned businesses to showcase their products.
Oh, that was wonderful. So like you said, there was a need and you filled that need. That's amazing. I guess we have to do that a lot of times, especially as Black women. We see things and you came up with a solution, right? You just didn't sit back. You came up with a solution, which is wonderful, that's excellent. And I know you've said, so Nadine, you've said when you introduced yourself, you said that you've been diagnosed with cancer, and so if you were going to write a story about your life or a version about yourself, right? What would the narrative be? Like, what story would you write? Because I know you said you started off, I'm a mother, I'm a friend. What would your story look like if you were to write a story?
My story would look like a very blessed and highly favored woman who was surrounded by love and gave a lot of love. And very concerned about her community and the well-being of her community, who was meticulous about the mental well-being of her children, creating children that will go into the world and show kindness to others. And yeah, it would really just be a story, I think, about learning how to get through life as happy as possible. I'm a very, very happy person. So everything that I have been put through, like, I truly believe that I am blessed and highly favored. I know that God's purpose is like, he will decide. Like, I could have my plans, but he has his plans. So I think my story would be like Mac's Guide to Happiness. How to go through some things with a smile on your face, probably.
That is, and what are some of the ways you would go through those things, Nadine? Like, what would some advice would you give, for people who maybe are not? Because, like I said, I just met you once, and I was actually taken aback by how just happy you are. You truly are. You're such a positive person. And that despite going through, all your trials, going through, the cancer treatment, you maintain that. So what are some of the methods? What are some of the ways that you do that can help, us other people there who may not be as positive as you to go through that?
One thing that I would say, there's several bullet points. One thing for certain would be, don't waste your time asking why. Like, somehow working through, I feel like God has prepared me in many stages of my life to be exactly now. In which I've been in for about 17 years. You don't have time to ask why something messed up as much as you have to fix problems. That is very much, and that is my job. That's how I grew in my career, is my ability to fix problems without, like, sometimes it's very off-putting to people how much I don't like scream and like panic.
Yeah.
But I just know that it's a waste of time. It's call to action. My dad always used to say, and I grew up listening to this, it's not your fault if you get knocked down, but it's your responsibility to get back up.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
time as I want on the ground crying, but I got to get up at some point. So I just kind of like throw that out the way. So I even say within my cancer journey thus far, I've never wasted any time saying like, why me or anything like that, because why not me? Who am I to think better than anybody else? There's a ton of women with, who are vegans and everything healthy that still, cancer doesn't care. So why am I going to take the time to kind of figure that out? I just have to put faith that I'm the person that I can get through it. And I'm just a strong-willed person. I believe you play the hands that you are dealt. Nobody deserves it, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So one of those things is I would say, don't waste your time asking why. Just say, what can I do next? And I would also say, I'm not a type of person who says, I wish I had, sometimes they're always like, I wish I had a group of friends that wanted to go out to dinner. I wish I had a group of friends that, and I don't waste my time wishing, because I know that this is my life. I have to curate the things that I want. So every year I kind of make a mission for myself on what I'm going to work on. So 2020, my mission was curating the happiness that I want, because I found myself saying, I wish I had friends that did this. And I said, why don't I just be the friend that doesn't?
Oh, great. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of just like, I want to go to an art gallery. I'm just going to call up a friend and be like, let's go to an art gallery. I got all the information. All you got to do is reach. And then I found that I started to say a lot less. I wish I had friends that, and I just had friends that. And so I'm just really an action-based person. Last year, my intentional saying was, you deserve queen. And what ultimately afterwards that came to be true. Once my diagnosis hit, I was met with so much love and like support from so many different people. I had people reaching out to me from high school, and there's one girl that I used to talk to all the time, and she has the most piercing blue eyes. I always say to her, like, oh my gosh, you have such pretty eyes, every day. And she messaged me when she found out, and she was like, I was been crying all day. She's like, you don't know what I was going through in high school, and you used to see me every day and just remind me how beautiful I was. And like, those type of things feed me, like being to others, like feed my soul. So like the support that I was like, I don't understand why everyone's supporting me. And then, I was reminded by my own quote, which was like, because you deserve, like, you get what you put out into it. Even being comfortable enough to accept that, because I think sometimes it's very hard for us to accept love that we often complain that we want, but no idea what to do with it. So really just serve queen. And then my intentional statement is actually doing everything with intention. So every goal that I have, every step that I take, I always question myself and say, is this part of your intention? Is this action moving towards the outcome that you're looking for? And then I try to just do that. But I definitely don't waste my faces of sadness and sorrow, because I just believe happiness. And I'm part of 9% of the rich. I might be not part of the top 1% of the rich people on the planet, but I'm definitely a part of the top 9% of the richest people on the planet. If I have a phone to call someone to complain on, I really don't have much about. Like I'm very so I love them. Sorry, that was a very long answer, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Nadine. You broke up there. You were saying such wonderful things, and you sort of broke up at the end. So we needed to repeat what you were saying there at the end, the last 2 minutes, because it sounded so powerful and wonderful.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear. That's perfect. So can you just reiterate what you just said, the end of it?
Chemo brain.
You were talking about being the richest person at the top.
Oh yeah,
right? And before that.
Yeah, there's 1%. Like, so, there are people that are 1% of the richest population on the earth, right? Those are our billionaires. But us in North America, with our cell phones and our heat and our running water, and our free healthcare, and part of 9% of the richest population on the planet. So there are 91% of the remaining population that is living in destitute situations. Like you look at people in the Congo, you look at what's going on in like Palestine and all of these places, and Iran right now, and all of the civil unrest going on around the world. So like, it's very imperative that we remember that we are a part of 9% of it. We don't leave our house and have to worry about being bombed or not being able to protect our children at night. So I never take that life of privilege and blessings that we have for granted. Like I say, if you have a phone to call someone and complain on, you do not have anything really to complain about. Just to lay your head at night. It might not even be yours. You might be renting it, it might whatever, but like you are blessed because everybody doesn't have that. And I never take my life or anything that I have in my life for granted because I've seen people with less. So, I'm a very rich woman in the truest sense of the word.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. You know what? I think more people need to think that way, right? Because I think right now when people think rich, as you say, they think monetary, right? But, that's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily make you happy. Like I said, when I first met you, that's what I got from you. And I've only met you once. And I was surprised that I was interviewing you today, right? And I think I told you when I met you that just how inspirational and you were. So, and I'm glad to see that you're telling us, how you do that. Like, I like that. Don't ask why, just do it, because that's not going to change, right? Asking why is not going to change your situation.
And it gives off something about it seems very bigoted to ask. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Than anybody else or and I don't think anyone's better than me, but I don't think I'm better than anybody else in the process. So like, it's just something that doesn't sit right with me to ask, like, why me? Like, when you're so blessed on top of that. So
yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, just listening to you, Nadine. I told you I like it. Just hearing you talk. You're so inspirational, and
that's very
you really are. You truly are, and your character and and comes out when you talk, which is truly amazing. And you talked about support. As you know, we're doing this 30-day of of her story on behalf of the Olive Branch, and you became involved with the Olive Branch, right? Like how did that happen, Nadine?
Woo! When I first was diagnosed, I didn't really feel like there was a place that I really belonged. Really see myself in many of the organizations. And being candid, I didn't see myself in Olive Branch of Hope either. And I can say I was one of the people that's like, I can't have breast cancer. I'm very young. Like I didn't know that was a thing that was happening. But and I think at the time I was so focused on controlling the information I got, just to make sure that I never overwhelmed myself too much, that I did break down and I wasn't able to get it. Like I got too down. So I was like avoiding people like the plague, and the Olive Branch hunted me down. They finally got me, and they brought me to an event, and I met such amazing women. Nadia, who organizes the HERstory, and happy birthday to Nadia.
Yes, happy birthday, Nadia. Yes, we got a shout out for Nadia.
And Layla. And when I was speaking with Layla about like my hesitation for joining the organization, she received me and my feedback and everything with such open arms. She is just a pillar for our community, and I can't wait to see the legacy that she creates. And I'm honored to even be a part of the legacy that she is on the cusp of creating for Black women, and the change that the organization is going to initiate. And I want to do my part. If this is the Church of the Olive Branch of Hope, I want to do my part as a deacon and make sure that other women who look like me and act like me feel like they are included in this breast cancer journey and the environment. And it's unfortunate that I know that there will be more women, but it's fortunate that we have such a group of sisters and women who want to be there to support other women as they go on this very, very trying journey. And so I'm grateful that they didn't give up on me. And again, they received me with open arms. And again, I know the amazing things that the organization is just on the cusp of doing and the greatness that we're all about to be a part of. And I'm just really honored that I will even be mentioned in any sort of conversation that I was a part of.
Oh, we are happy to have you. And that, like you, in the same way, when I first heard about the olive branch, because I didn't know about it until, a few years ago. And when I heard about it and all the things it was doing, and I myself don't have breast cancer, but just, knowing what they were doing, I had to jump in and helped and got involved. So yeah, I understand what you're saying about being, part of this legacy and just trying to help, women like yours, support them and do whatever we can, as you thrive through your cancer journey.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Nadine, there's another question I want to ask you. And when we've asked all these women, so the question is coming up, right? So I know you're prepared for this, right? So what is the image in your mind when you think of victory? Like, what does that mean for you?
Had you asked me 6 months ago, I would have said would have been beating breast cancer. Mm-hmm. But there's so much after that, and I keep saying that everything I want in life is on the other side of this disease. Oh, man. I'm stage 4, so as far as medically concerned in their mind, like I will never not have cancer. But for me, victory to me is really just allowing God to use me through as testimony for his plight. When I started Melanin Market, my goal was to help my community and create entrepreneurs and businesses and allow them the opportunity to thrive so that my children would have companies to work for, mm-hmm. and their children would have companies to work for. And I'm still able to do that, but God said, I want you to help your community in a different way. And so I feel like and it's hard to believe, but I am a fairly private person. But when this came and caught up with me, I was kind of like, I can't let another single mother be put in this. And again, I have to reiterate, I have the most amazing support system that a girl could ever want and ask for. But I know that there's a lot of women that don't. And so for them, I couldn't just sit silently and not speak on what I'm going through, because if I can help, my story can help prevent another woman from getting breast cancer or catching it early enough to cure it, then that's what I'm going to do. So for me, victory is in fact letting God use me for his purpose. And I know that I will be rewarded, and however that looks to him is what I will accept and receive. So victory is my sense of community, my children being proud of me, and me living a very happy, fulfilled life for every single day that I'm blessed to have.
Wow. You truly are amazing, Nadine. And you know what? It's and I'm glad, like you said, you realized that you were trying to go one path by helping your community, and as you said, God, put you onto a different path, right? He turned you around, and it's good that you listen to that, right? Because sometimes we don't listen to that, right? We still continue to plow through the same path that we're going through. So it's good, and like I said, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you part of TOBOH. Your smile, your positivity, it just radiates in you, and I think other people feel comforted and they feel such warmth when they meet you. So
that's very kind of you to say.
No, it's I'm not just saying it, it's just the truth. If you know me, you would know I only say the truth.
I will be knowing you so much more soon.
Yes, you will. So if there was any last words that you may want to leave for these sisters that are watching this show, like what advice or what one piece of information would you want to give them?
I would just say, I'd say life is long. Mm-hmm. And so every mistake that you have ever made or everything you didn't do, I try to live. I've always, even before cancer was in my life, I've always tried to live thinking about what I didn't want to regret on my deathbed, conversations I didn't want to have. And so for the people in my life, I tell them I don't get off the phone without saying I love you. I'm very big on like reminding people who they are. And like I'm the type, I'll write my friend a letter and just be like, you know, you look amazing today. And I'm the type to check up on my strong friends. And I would just say, don't stay down for too long. And sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. So I constantly am saying every time I have a thought, because when you have cancer, your mind is constantly trickling off to the imminent, like someone says, do you want to go on a trip in 6 months? And in your mind, you're like, can I go on a trip in 6 months? Then you get kind of down. And like, I immediately follow that up with faith over fear. I literally say that to myself over and over, faith over fear, faith over fear. And I don't stay down. I literally do not stay down for longer than like 5 minutes, maybe. And that seems very long to me because it's a very quick turnaround for me. So I would just say, curate the life that you want. Don't sit and wait for it to come. If you want better friends, go make better friends. Reach out. Don't be afraid to feel. Happiness is absolutely a choice. If you are one of those people that says, I'll be happy when, it's highly unlikely that you will be happy. Choose to be happy right now because you're blessed and highly favored. Tomorrow's not promised. My dad used to say, you never seen a U-Haul leave a cemetery. So make sure that you take the time and the life that you have, appreciate the people in it, constantly remind the people that you love, how much you love them, and the things that you love about them. And if you are a person like me, you will gain a great deal of fulfillment from that. The happiness of the people that I love makes me happy and overjoyed. And therapy costs money, but talking to your friends is free. So talk to people. Don't ever sit in your energy being mad. Like, how come nobody reaches out to me? If you need to talk to someone, pick up the phone and call them, because sometimes they just don't know. Because we're Black women, because we're strong, because we've got kids, because we're busy. There's a million reasons why someone might not think to call you. Don't hold that against them. Just pick up the phone. Like, support is there for you, but you got to ask for it. You got to curate the things that you want. Don't say, how come I'm not getting it? Go and get it. Like, whatever it is, just, I don't know. I don't even know what I just said, but
no, you said some very powerful words. Happiness is a choice. Choose to be happy, right? Create the things you want in your life.
It sounds so cliche, but it's not, honestly, make a decision that what you want. You want to go to the show, go to the show. You want to eat at the restaurant, make plans, make the reservations, and go. Find someone. Someone's there. We live in an area of social media. Like, don't be alone. I get so upset when my friends like, oh, I had a bad day the other day and I was crying, and I'm like, why didn't you pick up the phone and call me? And they're like, oh, you're going through stuff. Who cares? Like, we're all going through stuff. Everybody's, barometer for stress is different. So like, show up for people and they'll show up for you, and show up for yourself.
That is so true. I have to tell you, I remember, I think it was last week or this week. I can't remember all the weeks going together. No, I was having a really bad day at work. And honestly, I just picked up the phone and I called Nadia, right? And she's like, what? I go, Nadia, I just need to hear you because I'm having a really bad day, right? I just wanted to hear someone who I could laugh with, you to make me feel better, right? So you're so right. You have to.
Unfortunately, we're all busy people, and sometimes we think nobody cares or everybody's okay or nobody. Like, just pick up the phone and call someone. I say to anyone, don't ever go through anything alone. At least let people prove to you that they don't care, but don't sit by yourself and decide that nobody cares, because that's not the thing. And I also say, give yourself the same amount of grace that you give to your friends. Like, we're not perfect. We just have to, You're perfect in God's eyes. He made us perfect. There's only these worldly things that make us feel otherwise. But like, God is my father. So how can my dad not love me in all my imperfections? That's what I know a father to be. So
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much. That's such powerful and inspirational inspirational words. Like, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You for joining us. Thank you for waiting around when we had that 45-minute delay.
No worries.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey, for sharing what you think, you know, how you remain positive and how we can also remain positive. Thank you again. It was a pleasure speaking to you. And like I said, I look forward to getting to know you better and seeing that radiant smile. And you forgot
see
to
the
mention
smile at the
gala.
gala.
Yes.
I see modeling in the show. So please come.
Yes. That's right. We're talking about the Olive Branch of Hope. And as Nadine says, we are having a gala on April 2nd where you can be there to, you know, encourage and support women like Nadia at Nadine, Nadine and Nadia both, as, you know, through our gala on April 2nd at the Paradise Banquet Hall at 7601 James Street. We still have tickets left. So it'll be nice for you to come out and support the Olive Branch of Hope. And as you know, the reason why we're doing these stories is to support TOBOH. So you can also go to the www.heysisterstory.ca to purchase any of the co-branded items that you see, because as you know, Her Story is given extra for these products to the Olive Branch of Hope. You can also donate. And one of the reasons we're doing that is to raise funds to purchase specialized medical devices for Black women living with lymphedema after breast cancer treatment. So thank you all for joining us. Again, thank you, Nadine, for gracing us with your wisdom and your radiant smile. Have a great evening, everyone. And I hope to see everyone at our gala on April 2nd. Have a great evening.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
First of all, I always thought that breast cancer was a white woman's disease. I didn't know that Black women got breast cancer, and that was mainly because all the promotions featured white women. So I just thought, oh, Black women don't get this. And then, lo and behold, I was diagnosed with stage 3 advanced breast cancer. I thought after that I finished with the IV and the chemo that I was going to go home. I didn't know I had to take additional prescription drugs. And I went, and it was quite expensive. And I thought to myself, okay, what do poor people do? How do women that look like me, that is less fortunate than I am, how do they make it? How do they find the money to pay for this prescription, take care of their families, cover all their finances? That must be so difficult for them. And then I was at home one morning feeling, terrible after chemotherapy treatment. Couldn't get off the bed. It was terrible. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't want any other woman that looks like me to have to go through this alone. So when I get better, I'm going to do something about this. That started the journey of me and the Olive Branch of Hope.